Okay, hold on for a second. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, Leos. Hello, Leos. My name's Nicole. If you want to know who to call me by, Nicole. Welcome back if you've been here before. For the looks of it, it's a lot of you guys haven't been here before. So anyway, I'm gonna be doing Leo's reading about love. And I'm gonna start from the past and I'm gonna work right to the front. So like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Excuse me. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, I will be doing free reads for you guys once I go live. Okay. So if you guys need a personal reading, you can email me in the description box up above this so that you can get in touch with me and I can tell you what kind of reads I'm giving out. Um, whenever things pop off, it'll probably like 20 questions. Oh, did I say 20 questions? I mean, $25 for like 5 questions. That'll be the special that I'll probably start off with, once everything gets, heated. Otherwise, just you guys can just watch the free videos that's on here. It still does the same effect for me, in my opinion. Um, let's see. Okay, what else do I need to go over before I start you guys' readings? Well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I can't find my glasses, my reading glasses, that is. Because I have to have two different glasses for the computer and one for reading. So the thing is more, and I can't hardly see this darn thing. So it's a mess, as always with fire signs. A mess is a mess, right? I guess you said, why you're stereotyping? That's why you're being mean to us. Well, it's called pure raw insights, okay? So I'm not here to put sugar on your bad things. I'm here to help you see the bad things so that you can actually stop having bad karma. And that way things can start being beautiful in your life and you can start smiling and feeling good. Okay? Okay. Okay. Because, you have Sagittarius in the circle of your fire signs. So it kind of like affects all you guys to give you guys that good luck. But for some reason, your fire signs, you can't stop being in your fire element. But, just messy, just burning stuff up. Like, you guys know, just calm down. Don't be so aggressive and aggravated, irritated, because you have the biggest, biggest tempers. You three of you, the three of you. You know, yes, the tempers. Tone down. Don't have to be aggressive with everybody, okay? Everybody don't need a shit party from me, okay? I'm just saying. Let's live a little bit. Let's be kind and nice and stuff. But I know. You feel like when you're kind, people take advantage of you, people get over it. That's how life is, and that's their karma. Because at the end of the day, when you're nice, guess what? You build up that sweet, that good karma. That thing come back and it hits you. And everybody mad at you like, how you get a nice house? How you get a nice car? Why his life looking like that? Because you keep that good karma going. And you leave that aggressiveness allowed. Okay. Let people have their own stuff. Now, sometimes you need some people to ride out. Sometimes people need you to ride out for them. That's fine. As long as you ain't ride out, you finna go steal a whole, okay, you know what I'm talking about? In them case scenarios, let them rumble on the fields on their own, okay? I'm just saying. Your hormones in check. I'm just saying. You don't need no charges later on. Especially for some of you guys. See, look at them, look at them. Okay, for the start of your past. Let's get on to the past, Leos, and let's work our way on up to the future, okay? Now, in the past, I was just going to say something, and I see why I was going to say it, because here it is laying down on this table right here. For some of you who have Leo kids, if you're looking at this because you have a Leo child, or you're a Leo and you have Leo kids, and vice versa, whichever one is hitting them, for some of you guys, teach your children how to maintain themselves, and it's hard because Leo kids are like, beep, beep, bop, bop. Everything has to be done in 5.2 seconds, okay? They drive fast, they want everything done fast, they want you to rush to do everything, they drive you crazy. It's like, right, just a minute ago, I would lose my mind, but Leo, because he's driving me freaking crazy because he wants you to do everything yesterday, but you can't get him to do nothing for you on time like that. He moves like a snail when he wants you to do something. When you want him to do something, he moves like a snail. But when he wants you to do something for you, he wants it yesterday. He aggravates you until you about to lose your mind. But you can't do that to them. And that's for all three fire signs, okay? It's like if you owe them money, they want it yesterday. But if they owe you money. They're sarcastic and they give you a runaround. They don't want to pay you. Some of them don't want to work either. They lazy like the free. I'm lying. All three of them tend to act like they am lying or Venus. Don't want to work nowhere. For some of you fire signs, some of you guys get good jobs and you work hard at the jobs because you get the jobs done fast and quick. But some of you are very sloppy, especially if you the ones who have to tote them silver pistols in your hands. You know what I'm saying? Some of you are very sloppy and you're very aggressive with people. You don't know how to handle it and you forget that you got a job and you forget this is not Alice in Wonderland. It's not Play World. This is not Disneyland. Your job is your career and you mess around and get out of control with it. You ain't got no more jobs. So sometimes you got to tone it down and put people in your place and see how it feels to people to handle them the way you just got handled. Because, okay, y'all don't like the same thing. Y'all water signs and fire signs. If somebody handles you the way you handle other people, you'll have a freak attack. What? You the whole victim. The whole entire knot. The whole entire escalator, a shit show that you got to answer to. You got a whole crime finesse going on that you the poor victim. When you know for a fact you was the messy one. Okay? So stop being messy. And teach your children how to be calm and patient when it comes down to love. Teach them that understand when they're young, they have a tendency to stay young forever, which means they have a 2-year mindset, water and fire signs. But I'm talking about your Leos right now. Teach your children how to keep moving on up the ladder and not to look back because nowadays they have charges against you. And some days they'll lock you up for 100 years. Why? Because in your mindset, you think, I don't see nothing wrong with messing with Tommy. The Tommy's only 3 and you're 16. You can't do that with him. Well, he's my best friend. We play together. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of scenarios going on with people who see innocent children and then you had an accident and you slipped and said, oh, I didn't know. Some of your Leos getting high and getting drunk. And you're only 16, 17 years old and you drunk like somebody who's been drinking for 80 years, okay? That's how bad you drink. That's how bad you're on substance for some of your Leos. And you doing stuff that causes you to have to regret or go to prison for it. Okay, here go my Leo again. Okay, anyway, and you don't want to have that on your record for a long time because you seen your mindset is just still stuck on being 2 year. And I know it's kind of hard because once you have children that's a Leo sign in this world, it's hard to get them to have an adult mind because they forever going back to the stages of being a child and having fun and thinking everybody that's grown is going to be, you know, as fun as them. And if not, they want to go to somebody who's much younger and try to have that young fun with them. For some Leos, not all Leos like that. You may say, girl, somebody else is Leo, I know, but you know, sometimes I'm sure some people have to bring that Capricorn back to reality and say, hey, act your age, act your status, act within your range, you know. So I'm goofy and I'm silly sometimes. A lot of times in my readings I be laughing and I get mad when other readers laugh and I'll be like, y'all don't need to do that when y'all doing readings. This stuff is serious when it comes down to somebody's personal life, you know, especially when you're talking about people and things that they're doing. Like I say, this is very, very, very serious, you know, how to make sure your kids are molded right because some kids you just throw out the field and you just assume that you taught them things and they're going to be the perfect little kids in the world and that perfect idea that you're thinking for your children is always the opposite because I'm telling you, I had an aunt and she's a Libra. She had earth sign children and these kids I could say had some of the finest and nice stuff that their mind said their mother was nothing to them. All she mainly did was make sure they could learn how to cook, clean up, make sure they learn how to keep things in order, and make sure they know how to put things where they can find them again. And make sure that they take care of the stuff that they had, and make sure that they're not lying, and make sure they're reading the Bibles. The things that she taught them was the things that I learned too, being in the household with her. And these children act like she was the worst person God ever created on earth. They're on bad drugs so bad that it's just ridiculous how bad one of the kids is. She literally was so bad on drugs. She had a car full of drugs with her daughter in the car. And for some reason, I guess the house they went to was kind of hot. And because the house was hot, I guess the cops pulled her over, like I said, to say, oh, we just pulling you over because you was swerving the road. When in reality, they was pulling her over because she had in a car accident. They knew what she had in the car. And they probably knew potentially that she could have got some from the people. And she did. She had a good bit. And it wasn't like she was trafficking it. It was sticking up for her personal need because, once again, she go to her mom and cry about wanting money. And they feel sorry for her and they give her money. And she go buy what she want. And it's like, you're a grown woman. And it's like she's so unappreciative of having a good mom, And for me, my life was totally opposite. But God is amazing because He put me with them for a season so that I know how to be a woman, how to be a lady, how to respect myself, what to do, what not to do, keep myself clean, keep the house clean, cook my food, make sure I have decent clothes and dress decent. Now, half the time I dress like a bum because I'm comfortable in my baggy pants and my baggy shirts and stuff because I'm around my house and around the house, not my house, around somebody's house. So I'm comfortable in those. So I don't feel like I have to always dress up, and I don't feel like stressing out and saying, "Do I look good?" No, I don't care about always pleasing society. When I dress to please myself because I like what I see in the mirror. But at the same time, at least she taught me how to be a lady in the public, how to dress, how to speak, how to act. I talk very fast, yes, and some days I'm very, you know, I'm calm and I'm cool, and I got myself gathered together. And sometimes I'm like all over the place, goofy and laughing, and you can't understand what I'm saying. You have to ask me to repeat it 1,500 times. So, but like I said, this is not about me, it's about Leos, but I'm also trying to give you understanding of how you have to gather your kids. And even though if you gather those kids when you think you're being perfect, you have to look back and always keep a check on Leos and water signs if you have those people for children because they're constantly doing stuff. And if you're thinking that they're okay, oh, he's hanging with little Bob, that's cute, no problem. No, no, no. You need to get separated from little Bob because eventually little Bob may say he messed with him because his mindset it's adults. He's 16 years old with a 3-year-old or 4-year-old. That's not his child, but he's calling this person his buddy. Like I see the other day, this big boy with the little kids, and I'm like, kind of cute. But as soon as those children goes and say, "Mommy, so and so touched me," and you know, then you have a problem, right? So you have to be mindful of your children being older and being with somebody much younger, way younger than them, and then you have this issue where your kids is having a charge against their life for life, or they're going to jail for a while, and then I mean it's it's crazy. So be careful with that energy if you have a Leo child or if you're a Leo. Be careful of going people that's younger than you. If they say that they're older and they're online and they look like they're younger, do a background check because beauty in the eyes can fool anybody. That's what happens to the earth. We get cursed because Adam and Eve, pretty much, and that's what the angels fell down and seeing beauty in the people. Okay, be mindful of Leos. You seen beauty and want a quickie. Okay, because quickie could cause you a whole lifetime of damages and bad history. And it's hard to get a job someplace, especially if you're my color complexion, and it's hard to get a background, hard to get a job, hard to stay places where people always judging you. Now, you another color complexion, palm of my hand, it's no problem because I've seen it all in places. And I'm like, you should be working here. I know you lying. Well, you should be working here because when somebody black try to get a job, they just went down a crucifixion like you not that. But then you working here, okay, but okay. So sometimes the goosing always get. It's not always goosing for you. Okay, just saying. Be mindful, some of you guys. Be mindful of what you're doing when you're young because you don't want to lose your lifetime privilege when you're older, okay? Oh, let's see what else is going on here. I feel like there's some kind of truth that you want to fight over. Or I feel like some of you guys may be readers or spiritual readers and you might be going to somebody who's not telling the truth, or you could be a spiritual reader and I feel like you're speaking on something just to get people to give you some money. But I also feel like there's a point that you stress out a lot. Maybe you have beef with somebody who's a spiritual reader or something like that. But I feel like you either disapprove of God or you don't like God. But I feel like for some Leos, you probably is disagreed with somebody spiritual, whatever they say. So I feel like you kind of got this I won't say beef, but you feel like maybe you feel like they should be talking about spiritual work, and maybe you feel like it should be more focused on God. And so maybe you got some kind of agenda that you want to speak and say, but you don't say it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's right here. I could just say this person's lying. I say this person's doing this, then I could just get it off my tongue. I don't want to say it because then I might get blocked. I might be wasting time saying it. So I feel like it's either you having beef with a spiritual person, or a spiritual person who is having beef with another person who's spiritual, or you could be somebody who's spiritual, but you having beef with people who do spiritual work. You get what I'm saying? Say for instance, like you're a type of Leo who talks about God all the time, and to you, you're trying to conflict that with God. Say for instance, like with me, I do that a lot. Say for instance, like you're like, God woke up and God told me that you're gonna get today is the day that you're gonna get $1 million in your bank account. So whoever's listening to this message, God told me to tell you that you're going to get $1 million. I can feel it in the spiritual realm that God is telling me this. This is manifestation. This is something that God was sending through the energy line. So you see how I'm adding God and spiritual work in the mix of this? See, it could be that you're lying on what God says and you're not actually telling the truth about what you're saying, but you're trying to preach a word, but the words that you're preaching is fabrication just to get someone hyped to know who you are. So it's like you don't tell the truth, but you sit back and you speak on something in a way that make you look like you're speaking something positive and you're actually helping people or healing people, but in reality you're lying about what God told you. God didn't come to you and tell you that people don't speak money, because God is not of money. Okay, not the Heavenly Father. He's not of money. He's the type of person wherein he can open the doors like he did for Job and David and them and bless you fruitfully, yes. But at the same time, he's not going around telling everybody, because if a million people hear you say that, and that's all we got in this world, that means you just told everybody in the world they definitely been millionaires when Jesus came and says, don't a rich man can't get into the kingdom of heaven. So how can God tell you that a rich man um I'll make everybody rich, but he just told you that none of you can get in the kingdom of heaven. So which one is true? Is you telling a lie? You get what I'm saying? That's why I say, when I say for some people who gets money, it's for some people. It's not everybody who's getting that money. And it all depends on how you getting that money. Now you can get good karma for doing the good things and speaking right and other people. But there's a difference wherein a speaker or somebody comes out and tell you that, oh, God told me to tell you that there's your day, you finna get a big old mansion. And God, I was saying in the word, he says that don't look for riches on the earth, because I have mansions in heaven. You know, prepare yourself now and prepare yourself to live in the heavens with the mansions. You know, it's not exactly how it says, but I'm just saying this is what he preferred to tell you, is basically like for those of you who's trying to get the biggest house, the biggest cars. Don't stress yourself out trying to get those things, because sometimes you do wrong things. There's a level to things, and God will allow you to grow into those things. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to be humble in those things, like Job was. So everything that you do is Job is written for a reason. Job is written for you to follow in that order steps that he did. Now, when Job gained what he gained in stages, he was able to be fruitful to other people. So he continues to be blessed, and God continued to bless him because God seen that he was a person of him, that he was a person of love, he was kind. And anybody who needed food, who was hungry, he always sent somebody to Job to test Job to see what Job feed them, see what Job offer something for them. You know, if they needed a lamb or they needed something that was in need, God sent those people to test Job, and Job always passed his test. You get what I'm saying? So there's a different status of you becoming rich overnight and somebody telling you, oh, you're going to be rich. You see what I'm saying? So that's a false pretense in the Leo who's pretending to people, telling that this is what the word of God told me to tell you. This is what's going to happen to you. That's not true. You need to come clean with that. You need to get that word at your mouth and stop using God as somebody you can piggyback off to make your success or to make people gather around to love you. People can love you for the things that you create. People can love you because your good heart, your good intentions. You could tell people God bless you. I pray that God bless and open up the doors that has been hindered from you. If you need an apartment, I pray that God is blessing you, that you're able to make ways that you're able to get the apartment and to be able to afford to pay the rent every month. You can bless people like that versus you're saying, God told me to tell you this. Because God didn't tell you that. God said, I took care of the birds, so I took care of you. If anybody read their Bibles every day fruitfully and understand the verse of God, what He's telling you, then they will already know that God will set steps up for you to get what you need. You know what I'm saying? If you need food, He will fix it where somebody will come to you and give you free meal, and you don't know what happened or why they are on the streets corner giving out meals and giving you, or somebody call you up and say, girl, I'm having a cookout. You want to come over? And knowing you will starve and knowing you had no food in your house, and boom, bam, you over there at a cookout and got some food. You get what I'm saying? So there's one way to give do God's work and people to like you and to love you versus you sitting back here talking about, well, I'm gonna tell you what the word of God says, and I'm gonna tell you He said this and He said, so be mindful of that energy in the past, Leos. I feel like you guys still doing that now, trying to be successful with that. And there's nothing wrong with being successful in life, but you got to be humble. And like I said with Job, you got to also know when to give to people when God sends someone to you. Sometimes God will send somebody and a whole flood of people that take every dime you got, and you wonder why is that? It's because God want to see if you're naked and you ain't got nothing. How would you still love me? Would you still come to me? Would you still feel like I cheated you or I did you wrong? You know what I'm saying? So when you have all that stuff, you got to learn to live within your means. You can't get the best of everything. You can't. Just like I said before, when I have the best of stuff, I always lose it, and I'm like, why? When I buy something cheap, sometimes it fall apart, but sometimes it lasts longer than stuff that I bought expensive. And I feel like when I have something really expensive that's name brand, I tend to have an ego behind it. And I tend to be like, yeah, I got me an Apple tablet. I got me an Apple computer. It's gonna last. And you know how for the Apple either tear up on me or I got to buy storage for it or something. So anytime I have a product that I feel like is name brand and it's expensive, it's something always go wrong with it, major wrong with it. Someone takes it, it falls apart, and I'm thinking like, I thought it was quality. What the heck? You know what I'm saying? So if I have a nice house and I just love it, I thought, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I end up moving away from it. Excuse me. And it just pissed me off because I'm like, why can't I only enjoy it? But it's me having to tone down and get out of that element of ego and get out of that looking around my surroundings and feel like, yeah, I'm that girl. Sometimes you have to tone down that ego and find balance, because when you high, you can't help nobody. You can't show God that you a graceful, good-hearted person if you always looking down on somebody like, yeah, I got this and you ain't got this. I'm this and I'm that, because he'll tone it down. When I tell you how hair all the way down to the crack of my butt. When I say it was like growing behind my butt, that's how long my hair was. My hair was thick and pretty, and I was always permanent. People said, if you perm your hair, it's gonna fall out. Well, see, I perm my hair like every 2 months at that time. But because I took pride in my hair and everybody else was taking pride, and I was like, y'all bald headed, no. But as soon as I categorize those girls as being bald headed, my hair fell all the way out. I had to cut my hair all the way to my scalp. I have never my whole entire life had hair like that since I was a baby. I was a little girl, a baby with short hair, and my hair actually fell down to my scalp. I mean, I actually could pull my hair, and it wasn't even long as my finger, tip of my finger. So that humbled me, and it didn't humble me because my hair grew back so fast, and because I say probably like in 6 months my hair was to my shoulders. It was like, what kind of crap is this? My hair was cut off and now it's back to my shoulder. That's weird. So a lot of people felt like my hair was weird, but I also covered it up. So a lot of people ask me, why do you wear bandits? Why? Because I don't want people judging my hair. So I wear a ponytail or something, because I don't want to get back in that mindset of people judging my hair length, and then I'm back in this ego again, and then all of a sudden my hair's falling out again because I'm acting all shadow or I'm acting all brand new in my ego. Because I know we're humans and we have a tendency to act like we are better when something's going good for us. Okay, so that's what I'm saying right now for the ego, for some of you Leos, is a step away from trying to be something that you know for a fact is an ego, and stop trying to use God for something, especially if you're female and you're using God as reference for something to try to gain more popularity, because you feel like if I say God, everybody's gonna want to praise me and want to da. That's some people don't believe in God. Some people feels like God ain't real. You know, um, and some people feels like God's only real because he give you material stuff and he give you what you want. No, there's, how can I say it? God can give you, what you call it, that emptiness that you feel inside. You know how you first meet somebody and you fall in love with that person and it feels so beautiful and it feels so good? That's what God is. God is that feeling that you find when you first talk to your crush, or your feeling when you have when you first meet somebody and y'all in love for the first time in the very beginning. That's what God is, that love. But he's that to a billion time. And when I say to the billions, he's that energy wherein it's what you need, it's what you lacking in your husband, your children, and your mom. That's why he said he's better than all those things, because that's what he is. He's that energy. So that's why I said, stop searching for love in people and leave it for God, and stop using him as a category. And I also feel like for some of you guys, you're probably in a relationship with someone and you don't, your intuitive is not telling you the right thing. I feel like your intuitive is telling you the opposite of what you need to know. So for instance, like, you think you know what your husband or spouse is doing and you're not listening to what your intuitive is saying. I feel like for some of you Leos, your intuitive was high and it was telling you everything your mate was doing and you didn't want to listen to it. And I feel like you made bad choices because you didn't listen to intuitive. If you had to listen to a person who was giving you spiritual advice or your own intuition, you would have been successful in a relationship. You could have been a step ahead of this person. This person wouldn't have come chop you down like they did. Okay, I feel like some of you guys lost your whole entire foundation because you was played. You see what I'm saying? So if it's like if you're a female and you was with this guy and you're a Leo, and this guy had a plan for you. He didn't really actually want to be with you, but he was working on a plan. And you didn't, you kind of had a dream, you kind of had a feeling, and you also went to spiritual people and they told you the truth. But I feel like you didn't want to listen to what nobody else said. You feel like, nah, I can throw it down real good in that bed. Nah, when we kiss, it's magnetic. Nah, when we touch, it's super. No, we have our confidence, but we're going to work it out. We're going to tough this thing out no matter what. But I feel like all those little dicky picky things that made you feel like y'all was together and you was one gonna never depart, y'all Bonnie and Clyde. I feel like you miss a whole lot of, you ever seen those suspicious movies, those suspense movies where they have it where the person is actually FBI undercover and they really is not your friend, even though y'all fall in love and you feel like, oh, is this really love? But in reality, he's actually doing his job or she's actually doing her job. What's the latest movie that did that? I can't remember. It was so beautiful. I like that movie. Where and she was a double agent and he went to find her and because he was so in love with her. I have to figure that out. I know it's the name of the movie, but it's the latest movie that came out. Even though it's a lot of James Bond's movie out, but this movie I feel like was really beautiful because she really really came back and ride with him, even though he went looking for her. I think it was in Paris. Somewhere he went looking for her. But anyway, I feel like for some of you guys, you were in that little Romeo and Juliet love thing, and Romeo thought Juliet was dead, and Juliet wasn't really dead. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So that means you really thought Juliet loved you, and she pretended she was dead when she really wasn't. So she pretended she loved you, pretended everything was good, Gucci Gucci, and then all of a sudden now she stabbed you in the back, and now it's a twist and toss. And now you may have two kids you have to fight for, or you have to fight for, her relationship or your love with her or him, vice versa, whichever one it is. Somebody you're probably dealing with is probably got a divorce now, or somebody that you're dealing with was married, or you was going to marry somebody that you either didn't marry, or you could have gotten divorced for somebody. Because the keys was right here saying that for some reason the keys that you had was not the right key. So you might have thought that you had the right key in this relationship, and he was like, I could have sworn I had the master key to his heart. I had the master key to her heart. But in reality, it was just apartment key. That was it. You couldn't get into all the apartments of his mind. You couldn't get all the apartments of his spirit, so or her spirit. It was like, I keep going to her heart and it's not open. I keep going to the head and open, but it's using the key. This is not the master key. Somebody's giving me the wrong key. Who did this? Oh my God, I can't get through to her. Every time I say something to her, oh my gosh, we can't agree. Every time I try to get to her heart, she won't let me in there. Every time I try to get into her mind, I can get in that part, but I can't get nowhere else in her. Why can't I get to your soul? I love you so much and I can't get to. For some of you, you could have been dealing with somebody who you actually could not. Could have been a Taurus. Some of you could have been dealing with a Capricorn and a Virgo, but somebody you couldn't get into their hearts. Could be somebody from your past that you met into the present and now you don't left them again. But somebody you couldn't get into their heart like you wanted to. Okay? So for some of you not Virgos, Leos, I'm trying to do Virgos next. So Virgos popped up, but you could be dealing with a Virgo too. Who knows? But I feel like for some of you Leos, you met somebody in the past, and the person that you met in the past. Um, I feel like you thought that you can get your feelings back for this person, but I feel like you can't continue to dream with this person. You know how you picture, we're gonna buy a house, we're gonna buy this fancy car, and we're gonna raise our children together, and it's gonna be such a beautiful life, and we're gonna go to the beaches, and we're gonna go to Paris, and we're gonna go to all these different places. Hey, my Redbirds. Oh, Leos, you might get what you want. Say Redbird here. And I might hear some good news, Leo. I know I'm gonna hear some good news. But for some of you Leos, you was like, this picture that we had together is gonna be forever, and it's not. It's not. And maybe for some of you guys, you just like, I want to live like I was 16, okay, or 13, 14. I want to act like I'm still young forever. As I said, don't be playing with really young kids or young teenagers or somebody way younger than you and thinking that it's going to be cool, because some of you guys might get told on. You don't want to be on the internet and expose your business, okay, for some of your Leos. So be mindful of not being faithful to your marriage or not be faithful to your religions, okay? Some of you guys not being faithful to the spiritual world. You twisted all the religions, and then you're making this, you flipped it with God words. Like I said, you can't be saying energy and da 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 with the Lord and adding what people say in spiritual world with spiritual world God. You get what I'm saying? God told me you're gonna get a $1 billion when this energy comes through with Jupiter and Pluto, because you mix and match. Even though I always say God sees through all of the stuff, He's over governor everything. But then there's a thing when you're just speaking the God's holy word and you're trying to act like you're a pastor when God says you're not a preacher. Me, I know that God says I'm not a preacher, so I speak in certain terms when I'm reading the Bible, but I try not to say God told me to tell you this. I don't say that. I say spiritual world told me to say this. It's a difference versus me sitting here saying, the Lord told me to tell you God this and that and the other. Sometimes, God, you got to understand, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. The ancestors, everybody else is speaking and trying to warn you. Because and you meet the God, He going to shut it down for you. You go to him talking about, I want a husband. First thing he'll say, I told you walk on my son. Whatever my son say, that's what you should be doing. You not asking me for no husband. You not asking for no wife. Because my son didn't get one. So what make you think I'm going to give you one? Somebody else is open that door for you to get married. Somebody else is open the door for you to get a husband. Now, when you go in those doors and make those vows to him, he do says you are to follow those vows that he written for mankind to follow. But in reality, he doesn't really ordain that stuff on earth. You may say, well, the Bible says he do. Well, once again, I'm not your preacher. I'm just a spiritual person. From my experience, whenever I pray to God for a husband, you know what I got? A drunk. I got men so just like my mom. You know why? Because in God's eyes, you have karma down your line. And as long as your mom and daddy have sinned it before you, your grandma has sinned it, your great grandma has sinned it before you, somebody has to deal with those sins down that line. You can say, I bind it, I rebuke that, I bind and rebuke it all my life. And every day that I sit back and say, Lord, bless me with a husband, you know what he do? He send me right through the door somebody who just like my mama husband. Or just like my mama man that she met in her life. And I'm like, wait a minute, Lord. That what I asked you. What we doing here? What's this person here for? Somebody else's husband comes along, or somebody who's a drunk comes along. And my years on earth has been 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. To this day, it has never changed from what is in the path that's stored for me. My grandma slept with married men, my mama slept with married men, and my path, when I asked God for that, it's still the same scenario. Now, maybe some people who ask God for stuff, they don't have it in their generation of life. But I have it in mine. That's a sin that I have to go down the path if I ask God for that. So what God does, He's too high. He have other people running down to the bottom sitting there saying, okay, swing it, throw it to him. What the angels say in the Bible? They said they seen and heard the voices that cry, and they went up to God and asked God, what should we do for the people down on earth that's crying because of what's going on? So you see what I mean? So in order for us to get dealt with, there's other people that's gonna answer them prayers and open them doors for us, and just for us to see that we ain't want that husband, for we to see that we ain't want that wife. Why would those things happen? You pray to God and ask God for that. It's like that one girl in the comment, she said, I ain't asking God for nothing else no more, because I don't know what he be bringing me. Same thing with me. How's that even possible? But I know God to be good. He also know his word. He also know what he told me. But we steady, we got here trying to get married. Oh, my husband good. He gonna be good to me. I'm man. And next minute you know, he find out he's with somebody young. Next minute you know, he had that doing all kind of some messy stuff. He was sleeping with some girl. He went to some party. You had a bitch. Why you at that party with your homeboys? For what reason? Because it's a celebrity party? You too old. You grown. You married. Why you at the parties? Not somebody to put a milk in your drink. Why? Now you don't sit with this girl got her pregnant. Now you don't sit with this little child, and now you sitting in court talking about, I don't know what the charge is. That ain't my charge. Now you sitting up in court trying to figure out, well, how many years I got again? Also, you got to be mindful. When you married, you got to be married. Be mindful. You got somebody that you got babies with, and you trying to pretend you in a marriage, but not really married. You still have to be mindful of what you do when you go out with other friends, because some of your Leos have a tendency to play forever, to be childish forever, to be in the limelight forever, to be hyped forever, and that's hard for you guys not to do because you're fire signs. Sometimes you settle down hard, and sometimes you get out there and get tired of being bored and go out there and have some fun because you feel like your body aching, you're growing old, and you can't do something in your life and get sloppy. Half of you end up being homeless for it because you don't want to pay your bills, you don't want to grow up, you don't want to be responsible for some things, okay? So you got to be mindful, Leos. You can't always cheat on your spouse. You can't always cheat on your mate. You can't always think everything's a joke. You got to learn to grow up and be strong against temptation in this world because it will tempt you to be sloppy. This is your past. I'm going to go into your future. I say this video for 30 minutes, but you guys are like, y'all going to be 40 minutes. Okay, there was an offer. And I feel like you guys are trying to create something, but I feel like you turned it down. I feel like you walked away for something that was given to you. Could be a job interview, or it could be that you're in a relationship with someone that you was trying to talk to either didn't get off the floor or you just turned away from the person because I feel like you didn't want them. I feel like you want the trash back there that you left. Some of you guys deal with people that are horrible, trashy people. Some of you guys have a bad background, and you deal with water signs who deal with you who have a bad background. Sometimes the water signs get tired and then go find somebody else with the same background. It's like they can't get away from the bad background people either. But I feel like you guys were, some of you all Leos were caught between two people. I feel like these people here was similar to you. You could be messing with another fire sign. But I feel like this fire sign, you probably just go in there, have a little, throw a little money to them and come on out. But I feel like you didn't want to get attached to this person because you didn't really want to get, to attach. I feel like you met a water sign, which is like another Cancer. You probably did a little Scorpio in the past. You met a Cancer, some of you water signs. And I feel like this Cancer person, I don't know. I feel like you travel a lot with the Cancer person, and some of you guys don't. I feel like you just one night stand a Cancer person. I don't feel like you really want that person. I feel like you just like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to make a dream with this person, but I can't really see it. You're just like, I like you, but I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it could be just a fast thing, just a little. It's just a sex thing with us, a sex thing. It's nothing serious with us. But I feel like you didn't go out of town and go see this person, or you didn't meet this person because you were just like, I'm not feeling the person. You was in some kind of mood this week. Leos, I don't know. I feel like you just wasn't trying to see this person. Whoever this person was, I feel like for some of you, fire signs that deal with water signs, I feel like you guys are just like, I can't see myself with you this week, or I just not in the mood for you for some reason. I feel like you're just, it's like you were delusional with the person. As I said in the past, you did with somebody wherein they played your mind, and I feel like they made you seem like there was one story and when it was another story. But I feel like some of you guys either caught this person actually not being their authentic self with you, versus when they're with somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like you went out of town with this Cancer, and you seen this Cancer having a more of a good time, and pretty much just wilding out. And I feel like you was watching this person. It was like, this person don't like that with me. And I felt like it made you feel down, it made you feel gloomy, and you don't really see this water sign like you've seen it before. Because at first you was excited to show that you're the beast. Like, this is why they call me the Leo, the lion, because I could tell you, I could throw that thing from the back to the front and make it just, okay, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like he was trying to impress this water sign. His water sign was like, okay, you do it, show me what you got. And I felt like while this water sign was loving you because of what you were trying to impress him with. But I felt like this person also, when y'all guys became out of, became, what you call it, responsible to bills and doing stuff. And when it come down to reality, it was more like the challenging of you ain't good enough, or you ain't better, or you just felt like this coldness or this deadness. You can't cook it good enough, or you don't know how to cook food, you don't cook it good enough, or something like that. I mean, I think he said something, or she said something to you to make you feel like you wasn't on their level. So I feel like when he went around somebody, or she went around somebody else, you really seen the person of her like, you don't act like that at home. You don't ever laugh like that. Well, you act like you so happy with them. You get what I'm saying? So it's like earth and water get around each other. They seem to be more happy and more, laughing and having a good time versus when fire and water get together. It's more like, what the hell? It's sexual. That's it. And versus talking to conversations feel like it's sassy and flip mile, and it doesn't feel so, you know, versus when fire air get together, we crack it up, we bald and laughing, we just having a good time, and we're Bonnie and Clyde. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like some of you Leos who deal with the water signs, I feel like the celebration with them is like, I don't want to be around you in the rest of the time. I don't really want to talk to you. Some of you guys are just not chilling. Okay, so let's get on with this so I can get through with this. I say 40 minutes and I'm going over. Some of you guys are still dealing with somebody who's fresh and brand new. Some of you guys are in a relationship with someone who may go to jail because they bounce checks. I wrote bad checks. Some of you guys are dealing with somebody who's talking to who's in jail because they ex someone. Some of you guys are dealing with somebody who's very, very crazy. Some of you guys are dealing with somebody who wants you to pamper them because they have a lot of money and they want you to kiss their feet. Some of you guys need to pay a bill because a huge bill or something's coming in the mail for you to pay it. But I feel like for some of you guys, you have a huge thing with somebody bouncing checks. Some of you guys are dealing with somebody who you get money from, and there are people who are elderly. Some of you guys are depending on your food stamps or welfare benefits every month, and you refuse to work. Some of you guys are trying to clear bad karmic debt, or you getting karmic debt from your families. I just said that right. So I feel like for some of you guys, you're trying to get money on account. For some of you guys, you need to balance your money on your books. For some of you guys, I feel like the town is praising you, welcoming you for something you did. You probably popular on social media, so you probably get clout for that. Some heroic things that you're saying and doing, or it could be your family are praising you for standing up for something in your family. I feel like I said, some of you guys, I feel like you're meeting a water sign, or you want to deal with somebody that you love, that you want this love relationship to last for a very long time. And I feel like some of you guys may have rumors behind your back that the water sign may not know, but I feel like you want to try to stand your grounds and fight those people with those lies, deceits. Also, you got karmic, which means that things that you say and do may come back around and surface back to you. Also, if you guys have hair lice, bed bugs or whatnot, you need to get done with that very quickly, because I feel like some of you guys may have skin outbreaks on your children or in your homes. What the heck? You need to get a handle on that. Okay, that's all I have for you cancers. I said my cancers always go longer. End of the world, but hey, that has been your reading, cancers. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and those of you who subscribe to the channel, as I said before, when I go live, I will be doing live readings free for some of those, but not free for some, but free for everybody who subscribes to my channel. I'm moving my head so you might not understand what I'm saying. But like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you want a personal reading for yourself, or just inbox me, email